Hey, what's up guys? Tactiholics here, and we're coming at you today to discuss shooting stance and how it doesn't matter. The way that McLean and Price and Nicole and myself all shoot has generated some discussion and some questions that have come up on the YouTube channel. Perhaps the most inspiring comment that was made that encouraged me to make this video for you was, do you think in a real gunfight you'll be calm enough to reach such a fully extended and rigid shooting position? Now, to answer the first part of that, the full extension comment, is you want to use your upper body to drive the gun forward, to extend the gun towards the target. You want your shoulders activated and rolled forward in front of your hips. You can see all this stuff in the recoil control video that I did. That video talks about grip and good shooting position to mitigate recoil among a variety of calibers in a handgun. So recoil control is its own thing, and grip is its own thing, and then there's shooting stance. Shooting stance basically to me refers to the positioning of your feet or the orientation of your body, okay? So the position of your feet do not dictate what you do with the gun and how you shoot the gun. You can shoot very effectively from a sitting position, a laying down position, off canter to the target, even while moving in some situations that may be applicable. But as a matter of convenience, when we're talking about stance, if I have the ability to square myself to the target, orient towards the threat, get a good natural and neutral shooting position, I would like to do so. Is this always how it's going to be in the real world? No. But let's go ahead and break down what natural and neutral shooting positions or shooting stance means. The body instinctively works in a particular way and has a series of natural reactions. The external ones are your eyes and head will orient towards the stimulus, wherever that is in orientation to your body. Your eyes look at that stimulus, and then your body follows around and typically lands itself in a relatively squared up position to that threat. Working with this intuitive shooting platform saves time, and it maximizes efficiency when translating your defensive handgun training into a real life scenario. If you look at law enforcement, even military groups or concealed carry citizens that train from the more traditional bladed weaver style and argue that this gives you less exposure to the target, yes, it does give you less exposure to the target, but it is not an intuitive position. The body is not naturally going to drop itself back to a bladed position, maintaining good height posture and extending their arms out at different lengths and so forth. So that's something that we want to avoid. Now, I know there's people out there that are going to hate on me for saying that. They're going to say things like, well, I always train in a weaver stance and a bladed stance, and I can do it without thinking. But if you get out there on the internet and you look up some dash cam videos of law enforcement officer shootings, or you look up security camera footage of armed, responsible citizens that are attacked, typically they're just going to throw that training out the window, square themselves up, and shoot from a natural neutral position. Now again, one of the survival positives of shooting from a natural neutral position oriented towards a target, feet about shoulder width apart, and a slight bend in your knees is that you can move very quickly and very efficiently. Lateral movement perpendicular to the target and getting out of the way of whatever threat is coming towards you is very important. So if we were to shoot from more of a bladed position here, and I needed to get out of the way of this threat, I can move forward just fine, but from this position, I can't turn and move backwards without really having to kind of contort my body and twist myself around. Whereas if I stand squared up to the target, the steel plate which is down there in front of me, and I recognize a threat from this position here, when I see that threat coming at me, I can go ahead and move very quickly. So the big thing that I want to hit home right now is when you see us shooting on camera and we're squared up to the target, we're fully extending the gun out. This squared up position, this stationary position, is simply a convenience factor. I might not have that, for instance, if I was, say, sitting inside of a vehicle. What I would want to do sitting in a vehicle or in an office chair or laying down on my back for that matter, if I were to fall down, I still want to activate my shoulders and get as much of my upper body weight behind the gun as I can to help mitigate that recoil, but the feet are just a convenience. Now, for people out there who want to argue that fully engaging your shoulders and fully rolling your shoulders over in front of your hips or even in line with your toes is inefficient, or that it causes you to turtle head, or it's fatiguing, yes, it is fatiguing, but you need to understand the context of what you're training in. If you're truly training for defensive shooting, the reality is you're not going to be in that shooting position or shooting encounter for that long. Probably 3 to 5 seconds or 3 to 7 seconds on the higher side of things. If you watch the statistics about these defensive shootings, they're over very quickly, so fatigue becomes a lot less of a factor. If you're out there bullseye shooting and trying to get little tiny, nickel size or quarter size groups at 30 or 40 feet or 20 yards or somewhere around there, then yes, it is going to be more fatiguing. But again, understand the element that you're shooting in and understand what you're training for. Well, there you have it, guys. Hopefully this helps clarify some of the discussion and some of the questions that are floating around out there about shooting stance. You've seen, again, the recoil control video that goes over grip and upper body positioning, and this discussion hopefully clarifies that shooting stance is simply a matter of convenience. If you have the time and the ability to take up a shooting stance, you want to do something that works well with what your body naturally does. When people talk about degradation in thought process and motor functioning and significantly heightened levels of stress and adrenaline and fear going through your body, your thought processes aren't going to necessarily be able to carry out some extraneous movements or a counterintuitive shooting position or anything else like that. So get out there and train. If you're truly training for defensive shooting, get out there and realize what you're training for and train in a way that works well with what your body already wants to do. One last thing I'm going to say before we go here is I want to thank TacStrike Targets for supplying the Fat Boy target standing next to me for this test and other tests coming up. Stay tuned again, as we will be breaking down and doing a comprehensive review and just beating the daylights out of this stinking target. This thing is a beast, and you're going to see it coming up a lot, so big shout out to TacStrike. You can go check them out. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Tactiholics.com is our website. We really appreciate your support, and we're proud to announce now that we're also part of Young Guns TV. So get over to Young Guns TV and check out what we have over there and help us share the word. A lot of great channels out there. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time, and we never quit.